model of the Saville consulting wave. Next, highlight the various unique features of the Saville consulting wave. Present research findings regarding how the Saville wave stands up to other leading assessments. Show how the validity of the assessment relates to the return on investment. We will also briefly present the aptitude range of the Saville assessment. We will also cover the accreditation courses that are provided by SciAsia for the Saville assessment. Finally, we will round off with a question and answer session. Next, we will go into the overview of the Saville wave. The Saville wave is the most revolutionary suite of assessments to hit the market in 20 years. It has caused other leading providers to update their tests. It provides rapid assessment, more reliable and valid results than other tests. It was designed specifically to assess individuals at work. Unlike other commonly used assessments like the 16PF, which was not originally designed for work but has been adapted for that purpose. It possesses exceptional reliability and validity and was validated every step of the way of its development. It utilizes an assessment framework that was developed by the co-founder of SHL, Professor Peter Saville. It consists of multiple assessments on aptitude and personality, the Saville aptitude test, as well as the Saville consulting wave. Next, we will now examine the specific aspects of the assessment and performance model. The Saville consulting wave was built on a powerful model which provides a measure which efficiently assesses individual motives, talents, and workplace culture in a single questionnaire. It's also been demonstrated to be the most predictive for future work performance. Now let us look specifically at the Saville model. As you can see, the assessment provides an individual profile based on 4 clusters: thought, influence, adaptability, and delivery, each dividing into 3 distinct sections for a total of 12 sections. Each section divides into 3 distinct dimensions, and each dimension divides into 3 facets. The model provides scores regarding the candidate's competencies at various levels and breaks it down into the specific behavioral indicators. Now this is a graphical representation of the wave styles model. The scores for the facets give great richness of interpretation to a scale or dimensions. This is a big difference as facets tend to correlate, and you can be much more specific about matching people to complex and difficult job demands. For example, someone whose job role requires them to be good at negotiating rather than persuading or exerting views. An average dimension score on convincing could be made up of a high score on negotiative and a low score on exerting views. Without the facet scores, this important clue to a person's job fit is effectively disguised. Therefore, scores for facets give a great richness to interpretation, And now, we shall have a brief look at one of the unique features of the wave, that the wave possesses both normative and iterative questions. Normative questions refer to questions where you rate yourself on a scale. As you can see from the example provided, the candidate has rated himself on the question of I am a very competitive person, with very strongly agree. Now you might ask, what are the advantages and disadvantages of a normative format? The advantages of normative ratings are that they are an independent measurement of skills. Essentially what that means, the scores for the items for one scale do not affect the other item on the other scale. They do not leave people feeling like they have been forced in their responses, so they have the freedom to really choose and rate each statement individually. The disadvantages of a normative questionnaire relate to how a person's profile can be distorted based on how they respond to a questionnaire. For example, some people have the tendency to use the extreme ends of the scale, which is called an extremity response bias, or they may respond very positively, which is known as the acquiescence bias. Conversely, there are other people who are less comfortable committing to either extremes of the scale and prefer to take a more cautious approach, which leads them to respond in a manner of sensual tendency. Next, we will have a look at some examples of iterative questions in the wave. Essentially, iterative questions are essentially forced choice ranking questions. As you can see, the candidate has responded to I am a competitive person by selecting most, and I am good at building rapport by selecting least. Now we will cover some of the advantages and disadvantages of the iterative format. The advantages of iterative rankings are that individuals are forced to choose between options, and so not all characteristics can be rated as high or as low. Secondly, the rankings force individuals who tend to use middle or normative options to differentiate between the characteristics as being more important or less relative to others. And thirdly, these questionnaires are more difficult to fake because individuals are forced to choose and rank equally positive options.